Some breaking NFL news: Deebo Samuel requested a trade. So that begs the question, now that he's available, should the Jets trade for Deebo Samuel? Jets fans have all been nagging at the front office to make a move for one of these wide receivers via trade, sign one, or potentially draft one. And now that Deebo Samuel is available, it really presents the opportunity for us to go add him to the room and really heighten this offense to what we want it to be and where Zach Wilson can be that franchise quarterback. But should the Jets trade for Deebo Samuel? I am not in the majority. I'm going to say no. I do not want to trade for Deebo Samuel, but there are a few specific conditions where I would be okay with doing so. But let's start with why not. Why I don't think we should trade for Deebo Samuel. If the rumors are true and the reports are saying that it's going to take a lot to get Deebo Samuel, we're talking both of our second round picks. If we're talking about the 10th overall pick to go get Deebo Samuel, or 3 or 4 plus picks all for one player, I'm not for it, because Deebo Samuel, he's going to command a hefty contract. He's on the last year of his rookie deal right now, and it's been rumored he wants $25 million plus a year. And he also says that he wants to just act as more of a traditional wide receiver than kind of stick with the halfback wide receiver routine that Shanahan was just putting him all over the field to however he wanted to use Deebo Samuel. Instead, he wants to just be a traditional receiver on the outside or in the slot. And I don't think up to this point he's warranted that $25 million annually. From a wide receiver one, you'd like to see elite separation. I think Deebo Samuel, he's fine at creating separation, but he's really at his best when he has the ball in his hands. But it's not like he's breaking people's ankles. It's not like you're seeing film on Twitter of him just completely exposing a defensive back before he gets the ball. You don't really see that too much. And you don't see these contested catches that you'd want from a wide receiver one, like these Mike Evans. Like Mike Evans, he excels at winning 50-50 balls. Deebo Samuel, I haven't really seen that too much. So you look at the yardage and you'll be like, wow, he's wide receiver one. If he wants to play a traditional wide receiver role, I mean, he could definitely upgrade. He could definitely get better at that for sure. He's a young player, don't get me wrong. He will probably get better a little bit, but I'm not willing to pay that $25 million a year annually. Not to mention, he's had some injuries in his career. In 2020, he missed more than half of the games the entire season. And with the amount of beating that he's taken in San Francisco, especially last season when he was playing running back pretty much, it takes a toll on the body. So you're telling me you want to guarantee a contract where we'd have to guarantee more than $60 million a year to Deebo Samuel. I know that for a fact. You're telling me you want to guarantee all that money for a player who has had injury history, who is not necessarily a true number one wide receiver when you compare him to some other guys like Stephon Diggs, who can catch 50-50 balls, can expose defensive backs, can get open consistently? I don't know. And on top of that, giving up premium draft assets for a guy with 1 year on his contract left, you're going to have to pay $25 million plus annually to. But I don't see that. I don't see the value in that when you could just draft a wide receiver at 10 or in the second round. This wide receiver class in the draft is pretty damn loaded. It has a lot of depth. And trust me, Deebo Samuel would be great to this room. He'd make it a lot better, don't get me wrong. But I think the problem with the Jets receiving core last year was separation and getting open. When guys were getting knocked down like Corey Davis and Elijah Moore, people were struggling to get open. So I think we need more of a traditional route running wide receiver. It's why I wanted us to trade for Amari Cooper. It's why I really want us to draft a Garrett Wilson. He is so good at getting open. So I think Deebo Samuel, trust me, he definitely helped this offense, but I don't think it's worth it when you consider the fact that you have to give him a hefty new contract for a player that has had injuries in the past, who has taken a beating last season, and hasn't really shown enough to warrant true wide receiver one money. So personally, that's why I would not trade for Deebo Samuel. But if we could trade for him, I think the only way I'd be okay with it is if we keep either both second round picks, or we're trading third rounders or less. Like if we just give up pick 38 for him, and we get Deebo Samuel and maybe a fourth rounder in return, I could live with that. Now, I still don't necessarily want to pay him that much money, but we're only giving up one draft pick, and you could technically consider Carolina's second rounder that we have as a luxury, so it's like we're not even necessarily giving up anything of our own to go get Deebo Samuel. I can rationalize with that, but like I said, the contract, and I don't think the Jets are necessarily one player away. if we're going to invest $25 million into a player on the books, that is like probably, I don't know, 15% of the salary. And we have some hefty contracts too. Joe Douglas decided to sort of backload these free agent contracts that he signed with CJ Uzama and Tyler Conklin. They're not getting paid that much this year. I think it's like 3-4 million or something. That cap hit next season is jumping up. So I don't know, man. Deebo Samuel's, he's a really tough predicament, especially when it comes to the Jets and if they should trade for him. Now, like I said, he'll provide a lot of value to the team, but at a point, like, the Jets just aren't contenders right now. The AFC is stacked. Even if we add Deebo Samuel, we're not going to win shit for a little bit. Let's be honest here. I know we all have high expectations, but we're not making the AFC Championship next year. We probably won't even make it in 2023. Now, there's a chance, but realistically, I'm going to go to the safe side and say we're not necessarily going to be that Super Bowl contender team until 2024. So I don't think the time is right to trade for Deebo Samuel. And why I wanted Amari Cooper is if we traded for him, we could cut him whenever, because he pretty much had no more guaranteed money. So it's like we trade for him, and if things don't work out or we're tight on money, then you cut him, and you don't really get penalized. With Deebo Samuel, you are going to be giving out a guaranteed contract. Once he signs that contract, there's no going back. Quincy Enunwa, that was a massive failure of a contract we gave to him. Now, granted, that was Mike McCagnon. Joe Douglas has more of a football understanding and IQ to probably do something than that, but still, he's gonna command money, and we're gonna have to cave in if we're trading for him, because we're not just gonna trade for a 1-year player and give up a high asset and then just have him walk in free agency next year. And if you say, well, we could franchise tag him, we're just gonna piss him off even more, and that's not a good idea. So, and to even add on to that, is San Francisco really gonna trade Deebo Samuel away? I understand he requested a trade, but he's legally obligated to play for the 49ers. He signed a contract. A contract is a written agreement that you will play for the team, assuming that they pay you the money. So, I don't know. The Niners are in their kind of Super Bowl window right now, and that NFC that's looking a little bit more weak by the day, and it might not even make sense for them to trade him away. And I don't think it would make sense for the Jets to give up high assets and guarantee him a boatload of money to have him join this team when we could find a more cost-affordable option in the draft, to where when it comes 2024, potentially 2023, we can really have that financial flexibility to go add that 1 or 2 missing pieces that we will need in that time frame, instead of potentially having restrictions on being able to do that because of a massive contract we gave out to Deebo Samuel. So, listen, he's a great player. I understand wanting him on the team. He would definitely make the room a lot better, but I think we need a different type of receiver, honestly. And if we do go that way in the draft, it's going to definitely help us in the long run. Joe Douglas has said he wants to build this team through the draft. Tyreek Hill's a different freak, man. Tyreek Hill's an established bona fide top 5 receiver with speed that you just cannot find in this draft. Tyreek Hill is he is a sheep type of player. You don't find guys like that very often at all. There's an exception. Tyreek Hill has been in the league since 2016. Deebo Samuel since 2019. And Deebo's had a lot more injuries than Tyreek Hill. So that's my opinion. I understand it's a hot take. Please feel free to disagree with me in the comments. I'd actually love to hear all and any discourse you have and opinions, because I know I'm taking a different stance than maybe the typical Jets fan, but like I said, I mean, if we're giving up a 3rd rounder this year and a 3rd rounder next year and maybe a 4th this year, then okay, fine, but I don't know. The contract, it really just bugs me. I don't think we're ready to financially commit that type of money right now, considering that we were a 4-13 team. Just gonna be honest. Let me know what you guys think. Love to hear all and anything, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.